I believe I'll take the opportunity to start presenting about a quick presentation about ENRICH and LAC and what we're going to do in today's workshop on exploitation of results support, brought to you by ENRICH and LAC, which is the European network of research and innovation centers and hubs in Latin America and the Caribbean. It's an Horizon 2020 project that it's actually ending soon, very soon, but has originated in a center that's in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and works in accordance with a lot of countries in Latin America and with Europe, connects both continents. And it enhances and hopes to ease the path of business between the two regions and to produce key partnerships. It has DLR, SPI from Portugal, AMPE from Brazil, the Fraunhofer Gesellschaft from Germany, FFG from Austria, also from Hungary. We've got the Regional Center for Information Scientific Development. So these are the consortium partners of the project. And today we are providing free of charge support service to Horizon 2020, Horizon Europe, and member state funded projects with geographical scope either in Europe or LAC or both. And today we'll do the first part of that service, which is the online workshop, and then the mentoring session that will follow, and then weeks to come, one-on-one mentoring session that will work mostly on project risk analysis and business plan development. We'll touch a bit on IPER as well. Finally, please meet the specialists, LC Innoconsult International, established in 1992, hosts a vibrant team that's multilingual and very experienced with exploitation of results, plus over 70 Horizon projects have been helped through their methodology, and they're certainly very experienced, which I'm going to provide a word just right now for them to actually present themselves and talk a little bit about themselves, and then proceed with the workshop. Well, I hope you enjoy this session, and please exploit your results, project results to the fullest potential with ENRICH and LAC, SPI, and LC Innoconsult International. Thank you.
Thank you for these nice introductory words, and good afternoon for everybody. I guess everybody's in the more or less the same time zone, plus minus 1 hour. Thank you for dedicating your Friday afternoon to this very specific topic. First of all, I would like to introduce myself and my company. I was a researcher myself for 8 years, working in an interdisciplinary field of laser physics and material sciences, and after 8 years of very successful research, I decided to go to business, and now what we have been doing in the last more than 30 years is commercialization of R&D results. Part of it is in working with large European projects, started with FP5 once upon a time, FP7, Horizon Europe, and now Horizon 2020, and now in Horizon Europe. We have been involved as a partner in 9 projects, as a partner responsible for non-technical issues, among them knowledge management and exploitation, and then consulted, as it was mentioned, more than 70 projects on exploitation. And this is what gives us some experience, what is expected by the Commission regarding exploitation. Besides of these exploitation activities, we work also with technology transfer and also startup ecosystems. So then exploitation, and let me share my screen, and as long as it is shared, then what is exploitation? Because what we do is more commercialization. But why does the Commission call it exploitation? At the moment, I think my screen is shared. Please tell me which screen, whether it is the full screen or the presentation mode.
It's a full screen.
Full screen, perfect. So the reason why the Commission calls it exploitation and not commercialization is the fact that there are certain so-called key exploitable results which are non-commercial key exploitable results. Of course, the vast majority of the key exploitable results are commercial results, and this is what is expected by the Commission. But there are certain types of non-commercial key exploitable results. For example, new standards, new methodologies, new training materials, open source softwares, and things like that. But in the current workshop, we shall not discuss these non-commercial key exploitable results, but you should know that you can also claim key exploitable results as non-commercial ones, or input to a new research project. This is one of the most common non-commercial key exploitable results. So today we shall focus on the commercial ones, and in that respect, we shall then talk about importance of business development, what are the main components of business development, then technology characterization, commercial roadmap, and in-canvas model in the business development sector. Then we shall go to the risk analysis, risk management section at the second part of the workshop. So why it is important to commercialize? I mean, I will definitely not read the text what is on the slides, but I will try to comment, because I guess if you are involved in research and development, you are able to read slides. So business development. If you have a key exploitable result or commercial result, then commercialization would be very important. And if you want to have commercialization, why do you want to have a commercialization? Because you want to make business out of it. If you want to make business out of it, it means that you want to generate business, means revenue, which means also profit. So the driving force is mainly commercial or even more financial benefit. However, we should never forget about the societal, environmental, and so on, other impacts. And the economic impact is one of the impacts which are requested by the Commission. I mean, if you look at the basic principles of Horizon projects, you have these three impacts: societal, business, and scientific impact. I mean, the societal includes, among many others, the environmental impact, for example. Okay, so let's see the key components. There are two major categories: technological components like technical specifications and many other technical points, but also business components, which are fiscal, financial, market-related, customer-related, and very important, IP and other legal-related topics. So let's start with the so-called technology characterization, which is one way of taking into account the major components or major topics of a business plan. Because if you have a new business opportunity either your existing company wants to commercialize a key exploitable result, or you want to establish a spin-off or startup company as a form of commercialization, then business planning is very important. So instead of going through the full structure of a business plan, I will just highlight certain specific problems or issues which are usually covered by a business plan. And I will also introduce you at the end of this business development section a very interesting and useful tool which is called Lean Canvas model. Okay, so when you start the so-called characterization, you have the problem statement. I think this is nothing new because already in your project proposal, the problem had to be clearly identified, and that problem is already there, so here is nothing new. However, it is always good to update and review whether the problem, what you stated when you started to develop your project proposal and the project itself, whether the problem is still the same or the technical or economical or social environment has already changed and part of the problem has already been solved, or the problem is modified. I could see several projects where the original problem changed dramatically compared to the up-to-date status. So when you have the problem, you have to check what are the existing solutions, because the problem has already been solved by someone else in a different way. Usually what makes your project innovative, that you find a better way to solve this problem. But you should be aware what are the existing solutions, and a very good tool to do this alternative solution analysis is called technology benchmarking. Technology benchmarking means that there are solutions. So it's not the same as analyzing the competitors, because I will give you an example to understand it better. For example, you have a very innovative weed control system, which is related to precision agriculture. Let's say drone flies over the field, identifies the weeds, and performs targeted spraying. So this is a new technology. When weed control has been done for centuries with various methods, manual weed control or simple agricultural equipment, tractor-driven mechanical weed controls, chemical weed control with herbicides, backpack, tractor-driven, and so on and so on. So you should be aware of various solutions, and you should benchmark these solutions along technical, economical, environmental, whatever parameters. So usually how we do it is develop a table listing various solutions. At the end, my solution, and then we define some key parameters, key technical parameters, key financial parameters, key environmental parameters, and then in this table we put, if possible, quantities. Quantities in science means a number and a unit. If it is not possible to put quantities, then some icons, and then we benchmark along these parameters. Why this technology benchmarking is important? It is very important to see how good is your solution compared to other solutions. For example, this drone-driven precision spraying. Probably the yield is much better, or how many hectares can be done in a given working hour, how often can be done, how much chemicals can be used or can be saved, what would be the cost per hectare, and so on and so on. So you go along these key parameters, and then you will see what are the key parameters where your technology is better than any of the others. Usually we mark them with green, or if you are the second best, then light green. Or what are the key parameters where you are not really competitive, we mark it red, or second worst, then light red or pink or whatever you call it. This technology benchmarking can help you in positioning your technology among various solutions, as well as providing you eventual further development directions. Because if you discover that there is a certain parameter where you are not really good, then definitely you should improve that feature or that parameter of your technology. So, and then comes the check of competitors, because there are already companies out on the market with similar technology solutions, which are quite good. But first of all, you have to understand who are your competitor. Again, to make a similar table, but here you don't list different technologies. Now you list only the companies and or products which use the same technology or similar technology, in your case using drones and using herbicides. Who provides these technological solutions? Now you compare only these technologies against your own technology, then the analysis could be good. Could follow the same rule as I described it in the technology benchmarking section. So these two analyses should be done. Of course, it requires a couple of hours, or let's say at least 1 hour desktop research, because now you can find most of these things on the internet. Sometimes to find price factors or financial factors is difficult, because these are usually internal business secrets, but you can estimate. So please use estimation where you don't have data as a solid source of information. Okay. So the next point, now you know what are the other competing technologies and who are your competitors. Now, what is your unique selling point? Why you are better? What is your competitive advantage? Why should your client buy your product, not the others? This is a very, very important point. Of course, if you do a proper technology benchmarking and or a good competitor analysis, those points where you are the best will give you a very good guideline how to formulate your unique selling point or unique value proposition. Of course, you can use these technology benchmarking and or competitive analysis tables, just highlighting those parameters where you are the best. And if you show it to the client, okay, here is our table highlighting our best features, that could be very, very good marketing tool, telling, okay, this is why we are unique and this is why you should buy. Because the title says unique selling points. Okay, when you sell, you go to the client. Here, I have to tell you that in many fields, just being somewhat cheaper is not a unique selling point. Unique selling, because being a little bit cheaper is not always attractive. Why? Because your client has used a given system for years. So they know the system, they know the supplier, they know the how to get spare parts, how to repair it, how to do this, how to do that. And you should take into account that if you want them to change, you have to be really striking. I had an experience. I wanted to introduce a technology to a company which was about the same parameters, but 10-15% cheaper. They said, no, we don't buy it even if it is 10-15% cheaper, because changing our whole system will cost us a lot of money and a lot of time, so we will not change. Come back if you can be 30% cheaper. Then we can think about it. Usually you should be much better regarding technical parameters and strong financial parameters. Target market. What is your market? This is a very, very interesting question, because on the market, you should take into account who is my client. Who is my client? That is called in business terms customer segments. So first of all, you have to understand who is my client, who is going to buy. And here it comes again a very interesting question which is not listed here. What is the difference between a customer, a decision maker, and a user? Many cases, these three categories are the same, but not necessarily. I will give you an example. Aunt Mary has a problem in her knee. She needs an operation to have a prosthesis built in her knee. So then a prosthesis is needed. Who is the user? Aunt Mary. Who is the decision maker? It is the surgeon. Who is the customer? It is the social security organization. So they will pay. So whom to approach? Should you sell your prosthesis to Mary? No, definitely not, because she has no or very limited influence what is going to happen. Should you approach the social security organization? No, they will just pay. Who is the decision maker? It is the surgeon. So you should approach the surgeon. So the user, decision maker, and paying customer is not always the same. So you should identify who is who in this game. And you should identify whom to approach. Okay, that is the customer. But then, market. Is it just staying with this prosthesis story? Is it public hospitals? It is. private hospitals, or is it distributors of prostheses? Usually not. Or another segmentation is geographical segmentation. Usually, most products start to sell in their home country as a pilot market. Because if you want to go to other markets, usually they ask, okay, how successful are you on your home market? So home market is very, very important. Then what will be the next step? How fast do you want to go international? If international, what are the next countries? Neighboring countries, countries with similar business culture, social culture. If you go, let's say, to Austria, how easy from Austria to extend it to Switzerland and or Germany? So the so-called DACH countries. Okay, if you want to go overseas, US market, is the US market is my market, Asia market, Far East, is that my market? So how fast I want to reach those markets? This is really very, very important to understand the geographic locations. Can I reach those markets? How can I reach those markets? There are also certain other points. Let's say you can reach distant markets by changing your business model, because there are certain products which can be delivered efficiently, cost efficiently, only a limited radius countries like 500, 800 kilometers. How to reach other markets beyond that? There is a business model. There are two business models. Either you set up a new production facility, or you license out in these countries. You have to think about that. Also, when you concern markets, you should take into account many other things. For example, we were involved in a food packaging project. Then the packaging cultures and customer acceptance parameters of various countries. We made a survey from Turkey down to Portugal, from the Netherlands to Hungary, and the customer acceptance patterns were really different, I can tell you. What are the important features of a food package? Whether it is environmental, whether it is attractive, or so there were certain set of parameters how the new package will be accepted by the local customers. The regulatory framework. Just to mention the food supplement market. The European regulatory framework is totally different than the American FDA regulatory framework. So you have to be aware what are the regulatory frameworks in various countries for your particular product. Then here are some magic abbreviations: TAM, SAM, SOM. So the total addressable market. We work a lot with startup companies, and the total addressable market is usually, well, everybody needs our product all over the world, so the whole world is our market. Not really. Can you service your client in Kuala Lumpur? I'm not sure. So then there is a serviceable market, but can you get that market? That is a serviceable, obtainable market. So you have to reduce it from the whole goal down to the one what you can really reach. So this is very much in relation to this geographical consideration, what I mentioned before, but this is a tool which can help you to identify these markets, and definitely what you should start with, that is the SOM, the SOM. And then maybe later on, you can increase the dark blue and reduce the medium blue circle. Market size. How much money is involved on that market? And that is, how big is the global market? How big is your national market? And how big stake you can take out of that market? And to take a couple of percent of your national market is already something very good. If you go above 10%, wow, then think about that. So usually when you do the first assessment of your market size, most companies make a serious mistake that overestimating the percentage that they can cover. This is really something what you should address seriously, because just imagine if you have, let's say, 5 billion euro market and you address 10%, 500 million euro market share. No, not realistic at all. So here you should be very, very reserved how big stake you can take from that cake. And here comes a very useful technique how to start market entry. Start with so-called early adopters, or in other expression, it's called low-hanging fruit. The reason why it is called low-hanging fruit, that if you have a fruit tree in your garden or orchard, how do you start harvesting the fruits? You don't go to the tip of your tree, but you pick first the low-hanging ones. So check who could be your first customers who are open to buy or use your product or technology. How easily you can convince them to buy it. So then you can sell to these early adopters. Usually they are already in business relationship with you, or they are already your customer. In European projects, we could see many projects when the first customers were project partners. So you should look around if among the project partners, if there is anyone who could buy it first, because they are so easy to convince, because they know everything about your product and technology, because you implemented the project together. They could hear all the details, everything on the project meetings. Even some of the main players provide some, let's say, customer orientation feedbacks, and that is really very helpful. And also with these early adopters, you can expect some feedback if they want to suggest some modifications, or want to ask new features, or highlight some deficiencies. They are really good ones. Even we had some clients, we suggested them to sell to the early adopters the first products at let's say reduced price, or at zero profit price, just to learn about the product, how it works on the market. Second, to have the first reference, because later on, if you go to other customers, they will ask, okay, do you already have any products sold to anyone? If you say, yes, we already have 3 or 5 pieces sold in these and these companies, then they say, oh, it's good. Then if it sells, then we are more interested. Or if you want to further develop your technology and you say that, okay, we have already some revenue, then investors are more ready to invest in your company, or you can go to the venture capital range instead of asking business angels, which is much more solid background and larger amount of money if you want to get some investment. Also, you should be aware of the market trends. Market trends. What are the market trends? How the market changed in the past, and how the market is going to change in the future. So this is very, very important to understand whether it is an expanding market, whether it is a shrinking market, as a stagnating market. So you should see market trends. Here are some time frames how you should assess short-term, intermediate, or long-term estimations, and usually these are the major categories: expanding, or decreasing, or stagnating, and then you can say slowly decreasing, slowly increasing, or rapidly increasing. So you can make it even more sophisticated, but you should be aware of how the market is going to change. Public acceptance. Yes, here I already touched upon this topic a little bit. How the customer, or how the public will accept it, societal, economical, and environmental aspects, usually the main ones. I don't want to go too much in details, because how the product will influence the quality of life, which is again one of the main principles of Horizon Europe, that these new developed technologies should have a positive impact on quality of European citizens' life. Education, community development, equal opportunity, very, very important topic, ethical issues, and so on. Economical growth, competitiveness, R&D spending, cost of living, and so on. Environmental, of course, how to use more efficiently the existing resources, or even there are certain fields, especially circular economies, how to reuse materials which were considered as waste materials, to consider them as raw materials for other sectors. Environmental protection issues, nature preservation, and so on and so on. Here comes a very, very important topic, and many projects fail to investigate these things, the legal and regulatory aspects. Legal requirements, regulatory requirements, standards, to meet standards. We had a very interesting technology which was really, really powerful, worked much better than any of the existing technologies, but it did not meet the existing ISO standard. And that was the end of the business, because to develop a new standard based on this new technology could have required 2 to 3 years and about €1 million investment. and the company could not afford that. So this is really important to understand what are the regulatory frameworks, what are the standard, and of course when there are some biotechnology, biomedical, pharmaceutical topics are on stage, then ethical requirements are also very important, to have the proper ethical licenses to perform those experiments which are requested to develop the relevant product or technology. Good. Next one, please. Go to market. How do you want to go to the market? Who is going to do what? Will you manufacture a new product? Do you want to provide a service? Is it direct industrial use, or you want to transfer the technology to someone else? Contract research? Do you want to have somebody doing contract manufacturing for you and you will just sell it? Or do you want someone being your distributor? So what are the business models that will lead you to the market? So the technology, the product is there, how it will be manufactured, and then how it will be sold. What is the manufacturing model? What is the selling model? Who is going to do that? Are you ready to build up a manufacturing facility? Are you ready to build up a distributor network, financing also the market entry costs and so on and so on? Or you already have manufacturing plans, just you have to readjust some manufacturing lines. You already have a sales team which should be just educated about the new product and having a marketing strategy. Any questions? Somebody is not muted. Or another model is licensing out. That is a typical case for universities, when universities have, or public research organizations, because they just develop an IP, an intellectual property, but definitely it is not their mission to manufacture and sell it. So they transfer it to a commercial partner under a license agreement. But it works also for smaller companies or engineering companies. They are good at developing things, but they are not good at manufacturing or selling things. Then technology transfer or licensing out could be a very good model to generate revenue and bring the product to the market. And now, as I mentioned, intellectual property. In an R&D project, you generate IPs. IP stands for intellectual property. Here it is the definition of the intellectual property by the World Intellectual Property Organization called WIPO. And here I have to read it, although I promise you not to read, but here I have to. Intellectual property refers to creation of the mind, such as inventions, literary and artistic works, design and symbols, names and images used in commerce. And there are two things here. Creation of the mind. Now it is a very relevant time to elaborate a little bit on this question. 2-3 years ago, there was a law case in the UK that the computer generated a patent, and they wanted to file a patent, but it was refused. Why? because it was not a creation of the mind, but it was a creation of a computer. Now we are entering the era of artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence definitely will be a very good tool to create patent-looking things, but it should be disputed in the near future by the World Intellectual Property Organization, as well as the EPO, the European Patent Office and national patent offices, how to handle inventions and intellectual properties generated by the artificial intelligence. So this is a very, very interesting question, but at the moment, this is the rule: creation of the mind, which means human mind. And then the end of the sentence is used in commerce. So intellectual property is intended to be used in commerce. Good. And this is considered to be an immaterial goods, which is very interesting that you have an immaterial goods. That means you cannot process it physically. So it is a legal right. As it's a legal right, then the ownership enforcement cannot be done physically, but through a legal process, which means in courts. So this makes it a little bit complicated. There are two major forms, registered and unregistered IPs. For inventions, patent is the most well-known one. In certain countries, in most European countries, there is a so-called small patent. In English, it's called utility model, but in many languages, it is called small patent. This is for less so it's not as difficult as a patent, and it provides shorter protection, but the utility model is not recognized in countries having an Anglo-Saxon English system. Anglo-Saxon legal system. Then plant variety protection is another one. For protection of goods and services, trademark, industrial design, and graphical indication, which is mainly for food. But there are also intellectual properties which are unregistered. Copyright. Copyright is mainly known for artistic works, but in the last couple of decades, it is also used for softwares. So coding, when you code, you write down things. And the interesting feature of these unregistered IPs is they are not created, so not registered, they are generated when you put it on paper. So when you write, let's say, a poem or a song, when you put it on paper, then it is automatically generated. Or the other, which is very well known, is the industrial secrets, or now it's called know-how. Again, a know-how is very well used, but know-how is not what I know, but what is put on a paper. Again, know-how is a document. If you don't want to file a patent, but you want to keep it as a know-how, then it is recommended that this document should be put down either in your national patent office or at a notary or an attorney or wherever. Why do you want to protect? I mean, if it were a physical meeting, it could have been an open question. Let's make it an open question. Why do you think you want to protect your invention? Please answer. No answer. Okay. the usual question, because I don't want
I could
others.
try. I could try to answer that question, even though I don't.
Please.
Well, I think it's reasonable to think about protecting your invention, because you don't want anyone else to exploit the results you had in your project or your research or whatever.
Are you envy that someone else will do it?
Not exactly envy, but it's about getting it's actually protecting the technology and intending its intention. If you
why aren't you happy that somebody will do it and it will be for the benefit of humanity? A lot of people will be happy that you invented it and they can use it.
I believe we can still enable that, but I suppose, provided that, for instance, I did work on a technology, I developed it, I should have some kind of knowledge of what it's going to be worked with or worked on or implemented in. I suppose. I think it works.
Good attempt, but it was not that close. It was
Indeed.
not that close. So the main reason is that you want to exclude others from the financial benefits of your invention. Which means
fair enough.
you want to establish a monopoly on it. So this is the major thing. You want to establish a monopoly on a given market. So it is not your invention what you protect, actually. It is your market. It's very strange, but it is true that you do not protect your invention, but you protect the market of your invention. Of course, there are other cases. For example, universities use patents as a PR tool, because if we have X number as a university, we have an X number of patents, then we are a much better university. We receive higher ranking, then we have more students, better researchers, and so on and so on. But that is the non-financial or non-business part. I'm talking about the business part. I want to establish a monopoly on a given market for my invention. That is what monopoly is about. Why do I want to have a monopoly? Because to develop this technology, how much did it cost you? Did it cost you money? Yes, a lot of money. You invested a hell of a lot of money to develop this technology. Do you want to get it back? Yes, of course. Yes, of course. If you want to get it back, then you can get it back if you are the only one producing and selling on a given market. Then you have a good chance to have a return on investment. So from these sentences, what it comes that patenting is not a legal process, or at the end it's a legal process, but the major goal or the major thing is a business decision, which is later on translated to a legal process. But first it comes that I have an invention, I have a business decision, I want to commercialize it. If I want to commercialize it, I want to protect my market. But of course, there are certain cases when you are not recommended to protect it. For example, if it is difficult to reverse engineer or reproduce, then why to protect it? Because they cannot copy it. If nobody can copy it, then nobody can produce it. If nobody can produce it, I already have a monopoly. So why to bother with patenting? These are typical cases for certain chemical mixtures, recipes, beverages, composite materials, certain processes. Here it is a well-known brown toxic liquid. It is present, I guess, in 190 countries in the world, and it has never ever been patented. It has a secret know-how, which is the recipe itself, but it applies to most of these drinks like Jägermeister or many other drinks. Because here it comes again one more point. What does it mean patenting? You submit your, so you file a patent, then the patent office will evaluate, and if it's okay, then they will publish it. And here comes a question again. Do you want your invention to be published? Very interesting question. Maybe not. Maybe yes. Think it over. I don't know the answer. You should know the answer. Do I want all the details of my invention being published? Or can I make a patent description or the claims of my patent? Can I do it that not all the details are put in, but still can be patented? Or the other case, okay, you file a patent, but it is very, very difficult to either to identify infringement or enforce your rights. Because what I mentioned a couple of slides before, enforcement of your rights can be done through a legal process in a court. Do you have enough resources to go through that legal process? Can you detect infringement? For example, you developed a process and a big Japanese company will use this process within their company premises. Do you have a chance to see those processes within the facilities and premises of the company? You cannot even enter. So there are a lot of questions you should ask before you enter this patenting process. Or it is so easy to invent around. You can patent it, but somebody changes a component and it is not protected anymore, but the functionality is more or less the same. Or invention becomes obsolete quickly. For example, in the current smartphones, in 2-3 years, it is obsolete. So when the patent is granted, it is halfway outdated. Or simply the invention cannot be patented. And here is one more point which is not put on the slide here, just it came to my mind. Patenting costs money, especially if you want to patent it not only in one country, but if you want to cover a good number of countries. It could reach several tens of thousands of euros. When I was working with a company, the annual maintenance fee, not the filing, but the maintenance fee was 30,000 euros. No, only the maintenance fees, annual maintenance fees. So patenting means you put money into a business situation. How is it called when you put money in a business? That is called investment. If you have an investment, what is your expectation? Return on investment. So when you patent, do you have a good chance to have a return on investment? Yes or no? Also, patenting is a geographical right. So there is no such a thing that global patent. You have to patent it country by country, or there are certain regions, for example. Now already in a couple of years, there is such a thing like European patent, and then you cover a good number of countries. But then other countries are not covered. And we were talking previously about your market entry. What are the geographical areas what you want to enter? Aha. And here we have a right protecting my market that is called patent. So my market entry strategy and my patenting strategy regarding the geographical coverage, because what we protect is our market. So why to have a patent in countries which are not our target market countries? Why to have a Mongolian patent if we don't want to enter 2 million population Mongolia? Distant, cold country. I don't want to enter, so there is no reason to have a patent there. But I want to enter the Turkish market because Turkey is a 100 million country, very interesting market. I want to have a Turkish patent then. There are some tricky countries like Vietnam, China, India, where the patent is considered to be not as strong as we have it in Europe or in North America or in Japan. Of course, if you don't patent, but you have a know-how, it still can be commercialized. I don't want to go too much in details, but commercialization is also possible. But if you have intellectual property, as every property, you have owners. Who is the owner of the property? The owner is the one, if it is an independent inventor or author, that is the owner. But if you are employed by an organization, either a public research organization or a company, the owner is your employer. Of course, there are certain rules, especially in public research organizations. There is an intellectual property statute which describes what are the rights of the inventor, but the owner is still the university. And in cooperative research projects such as Horizon, there could be multiple parties generating an IP. So research institutes, businesses, 2 universities, 2 businesses, even more. We had some cases when we had 12 contributors to a newly generated intellectual property or key exploitable result. Then, of course, then we have a so-called shared ownership. Here I will give you a clear picture. What is this is just a model. Here we have a public research organization and a business partner co-generating the intellectual property, let's say contributing 50-50%, but in these cases, cost of filing, cost of maintenance is usually beared by the business partner, and therefore they have a little bit higher ownership rights. And then, okay, we have ownership, but who is allowed to use it? Who has the user rights or access rights? Of course, in most cases, the business partner wants to have either exclusive rights or non-exclusive rights. But still, there's another owner, so the business partner has to compensate the other partner, like paying royalties, or as it stands in Horizon 2020, under fair and reasonable conditions. I don't know what it means. I could see it several times in European Commission documents, but I don't understand it. So either there is royalty or there is no royalty, and the amount of royalty should be set by the parties. If it is not an exclusive access right, then maybe a big, let's say, a Canadian company approaches the university that you have a co-ownership in this intellectual property. we would be interested in licensing in this patent, then of course under royalty bearing conditions. Then typically in these cases the business partner has a veto right, because a competitor should not have access to this intellectual property, and then they should proceed. How all these things are regulated, there is a so-called joint ownership agreement. I don't want to go through all these details in joint ownership agreement, but it is strongly recommended that as early as possible, the co-owners of the intellectual property should sign a joint ownership agreement regulating a lot of issues like who is going to find a patent, what are the rights of the parties, who is going to pay the maintenance fees, is there a right at either parties to further develop it? If it is further developed and the new IP is generated, what is going to happen? The access rights should be under what conditions, to be being commercialized if a third party comes, and so on and so on. There are many points which should be discussed, and for example, in European project, this is an issue what we manage among the partners to develop a strong joint ownership agreement. Okay, so now we have the IP covered, then to reach the customer. What are the channels? Whether it is through distributor, wholesale, direct to customer, so-called B2C or B2B, so business to customer, business to business, or even nowadays there are certain business models which is B2B2C, so first to sell to a business and then to sell to a customer. So there are various business model and there are various marketing tools, but you have to find the proper channels, how to reach the customers. Next one is about pricing. Pricing is very interesting exercise, because here you have to take into account competition, your cost structure, your marketing policy, or whether you want to be an economy product, so mass production, or more a premium product, and smaller quantities with higher profit margin, or large product quantities with small margin. When it is multiplied, then it still can be a very large number. So, and of course, how can you cover all those costs which you invested in developing this product and bringing it to the market? Also, it is very important to see who is going to do all these things, because I mean, you have a road to the market. On the road to the market, you need people who will do it. Internal and external players. Who is going to do what? Whether you have all the team members, or do you need to hire someone, or for being a member of the internal team, or you have to sign a contract with an external partner, or how you will ensure all the competencies and capacities which are needed for bringing the product onto the market and selling on the market. For that road, it's really suggested to develop a so-called commercialization roadmap. You are at a given point, and then the end point is the product is on the market. What actions are required? please put up an action plan, for example, for the next 3 to 6 months, but could be even up to a year or even more. So what actions are needed? R&D actions, marketing actions, legal actions, financial, whatever actions you need to reach the market. Just list the actions. So make an action plan. Then in that action plan, what are the roles? Who is doing what? People, partners, cooperation partners, suppliers, distributors, financiers, who is who? These are very important. So partners, external partners, as well as internal team, as it was discussed before. Okay, the next one is you have the action plan. What are the milestones? Milestones and even key KPIs. You should put it on a timeline. What would be the milestones? When do you want or have to reach those milestones? Even you can put up a Gantt chart. You can put up a Gantt chart, and the Gantt chart will help you listing the milestones, giving a time frame to the activities, and in a good Gantt chart, you have also marked milestones as well as deliverables. As you implemented a Horizon project, in your Horizon project, you already also had in chapter 3, you had a Gantt chart for your project implementation. Same, your current project ended, but a new project starts, which is called commercialization. And of course, to go through that action plan, you will have costs. And if you will have costs, then what are these costs? Most of these costs will be operational expenses, like R&D expenses, like market entry expenses, and so on and so on. But you should not forget that you might need some investment cost, which is CapEx, so the capital expenditure. So the CapEx is the capital expenditure and OpEx is the operational expenditure. So what are these costs? And you could list them and also quantify them. How much will be spent for R&D? How much will be spent for marketing actions? How much will be spent on buying equipment, buying manufacturing tools, doing this, doing that? To do this on the internet, you can find several very good tools where you have a typical list of OpEx and CapEx items. Okay, this, and then at the end it comes that I need, let's say, 2 million euros. I need this and that much of money. Then where does this money come from? Who is going to finance it? This list is more for startups. I mean, if you want to establish a spin-off company, these are the relevant funding sources. But even if you are an established company, some of these sources will fall out, like the 4F, but own sources, whether you want to have any venture capital or bank loan, or do you want to use public grants, national or international public grants? So you have to think over, okay, 2 million euros, 500,000 will be from our own sources, 500,000 bank loan, and 1 million public grant, for example. So source of the implementation. Here is a typical financing curve of a new product launch. On the vertical axis you have the profit, on the horizontal axis you have time, And when you start developing it, you just spend money on the R&D, and then at the bottom of this curve, you start to sell. And if you are lucky, then the profit will bring you back your investment, and there you can see the break-even point. Then you're happy. It may also happen that the dashed lines, for example, you develop, and for whatever reason you cannot sell. Then all your money which is invested in the R&D will be lost, or you can sell but not at a good price or not enough quantity, that you will never reach break-even, but you can just reduce your loss. But hopefully you can reach this break-even point. And here it comes the role of your patent, because if you have a patent, then you have a much better chance to be able to reach this break-even point. Because if you have a monopoly on the market, who is going to set the price? Definitely it is not the competition. It is you and the market. I mean, you can set the price as high as the market will accept it. And then you will have a premium price, and the premium price will help you to reach that break-even point as early as possible. Then, to summarize all these things, what I mentioned under business development, there is a tool called Lean Canvas. The Lean Canvas is based on 4 questions. What is their problem? So not my problem. We don't care about your problem. What is their problem? Who is there? My potential customer. What is the problem outside? Who is that who has a problem? How do they solve the problem now? And how is my solution better than the current solution? So these are the 4 major questions. And how it is represented in the canvas. This is the structure of the canvas. So the Lean Canvas consists of 8 boxes. You might have heard about the business model canvas. The business model canvas is also a very, very good tool, but it is more for already established businesses. And this business model canvas was further developed for a new innovative product and technology, which suits much better to the features of these new technologies. And this is how this Lean Canvas was developed. So now I will go through the boxes one by one, how the whole thing is built up. So, problem. As you might remember that I started my whole presentation with a problem definition. I don't want to spend too much time on that. Here it is, 3 main problems, what you are addressing with your solution, and describe existing alternatives. Remember the technology benchmarking. Yeah. Then it comes customer segment. Please remember what I was talking about: user, client, decision maker, who will be your customer, what are the early adopters. Yes, so here it comes, who are your target customers? Of course, customer segmentation is a very interesting tool, because you can see that, okay, if it is, let's say, B2C, so it means business to customer type of product, then you should segment it by gender, by age, by social layer, by financial abilities, luxury or whatever. So there is a very, very important a science beyond customer segmentation, and here you should also do the geographical segmentation. Then it comes the value proposition. The unique value proposition was also touched upon. So here you come with the unique value proposition. It's usually a very simple statement saying, okay, why the customer should buy my solution. Next one. Okay, here it comes, your solution. Please remember that you are point number 4. So the problem is the most important. The customer comes next. Why you are better, and then what is your solution? So it is a usual problem with talking to people invented something that they want always to tell that, okay, my invention is so great. No, that comes point number 4. Number 4, here you describe what is your solution. Okay, the next one is channels. We already discussed a little bit about the channels. How will you reach your customer? Will you reach yourself? Will you set up a sales team? Will it be e-commerce through distributors, warehouses, wholesale partners, whatever? Or you will be a supplier of a big company, and so on and so on. Will you attend? Here it comes also what is called in the European projects dissemination. How do you use in your project the dissemination tools? Because dissemination tools could be very, very good promotion tools. Also opening channels to the customers, like going to specific trade shows, organizing specific workshops for potential customers, publishing promotional materials, attending conferences. So there could be several dissemination tools which could be used as a channel or supporting a channel to reach the customer. Okay, unfair advantage. This is the least tangible box of the whole Lean canvas. This is what gives you advantage against your competitors, which cannot be copied, or is, for example, if you are patented, that is an unfair advantage, because you have a patent, then nobody can copy it in the countries where you file a patent. Then key metrics. What are your key metrics? Key metrics could be, for example, for an app, how many downloads you have, or how many registered users you have, or how many pieces in other, for example, equipment or tools, how many pieces were sold, how much revenue was generated. So you should set up your own metrics. What are the parameters you want to measure to understand if you are on the right way, or what is success, or whether you reached your goals? But it will differ product by product. Revenue stream, very important. How you will make money? Will it be just selling the product and having revenue, or will it be a subscription model or freemium model, or ESCO, energy service company model. So how you will generate revenue or license fees or royalties, which will be the revenues. And even if you want to have a better understanding, you will put a financial forecast behind this. Financial forecast means that for a year with a month breakdown, you will just list how much revenue you will expect, of course, how many pieces are sold, what will be the price. Even you can have various products at different price ranges, and then you can estimate or forecast your expected revenue. Then, of course, you can make it even put your gross margin there, and with putting the gross margin there, if you put also your cost structure, how much cost you will have. In a simple version, you just list the cost and expenses items, or you can make it even more sophisticated to make a table just estimating the costs that will occur. And if you have the cost table and you have the revenue table, then you can have a very important financial business plan structure, or even a cash flow calculation model. Yes, this is the end of the first and bigger session, which was the business development part. And now we come to the risk management part. As you are aware that R&D and bringing innovative products to the market is a very, very risky activity. So we have to be aware of what are the risk factors and how to mitigate these risks. And these are the major topics what I will cover in the next 20-25 minutes. Okay, what is risk management? It is mainly identifying what are the risks and how to mitigate or to avoid of the negative effects of the risks if they happen, and whether we have a chance to turn it into opportunities. So risk is not necessarily a negative statement, but if you mitigate it properly, then you can turn them positive and turn them to an opportunity. Risk analysis is also a very important decision making tool, because if you have an unexpected situation or not so positive situation, you have to take decisions. And if you're prepared by these tools, what I will introduce later on, then you are much better prepared, and the outcome could be less problematic than if you have no preparation work. By preparing this risk analysis, you can have a much better chance to reduce problems, to avoid problems. You can improve the probable success, the probability of a successful project implementation. It's also planning. I mean, if you plan even beyond R&D projects, any other projects in other business or even your private life, you have certain risk factors, and you always try to reduce these risk factors. So let's start with risk identification. How we do it, first we identify the major risk categories. What could be the source of certain risks? These are typical risk categories, not risk factors, but risk categories, what we face in R&D. It doesn't mean that it's a full list of risks, because in your project there might be other risk categories. Maybe some of these risk categories are not relevant. So all these things, what I will show in risk identification and as a breakdown of these risk categories, are only examples. These are not the only way to do it. Just giving you a methodology how you can identify risk categories and risk factors. Okay, so these are the ones we shall go through one by one, giving you some idea what could be the risk factors within each of these risk categories. Technological risks in the planning, in development, could be performance or post-release risks. For example, you are not properly designed your product, or difficulty is a parameter, or undetected defects, too complex technology, very limited availability of components, which actually happened in one of our projects, and we were not prepared for that, and that also caused the end of the project. That was veterinary vaccine development project, started in 2018, and suddenly early 2020 the project stopped because a certain component which was essential was not available on the market, because all those fine chemicals were used for developing COVID vaccine. That was the end of the story. There also a very important technological risk is upscaling. Upscaling is always a very, very serious issue, because what works on a lab scale works on a pilot scale, not necessarily works on an industrial scale. So that is also a very, very important technological risk. Performance. It does not meet the market expectations. We have a technology, one of our clients developed a very interesting technology to produce solid recovered fuel from urban wastewater sludge, and this equipment can process the sludge coming out of a plant, handling a town of a wastewater management facility in a town of up to 50,000 people. But then we had a client from Izmir, which is a 4.5 million population city. Now we have to think about how to solve this problem. Fails to fulfill design specifications. And here I have to tell you one more thing, which is not listed here. To avoid many of these risks, what we strongly suggest to our clients, talk to your potential client as early as possible. Talk to them, tell them that we are developing this and this technology or this and this product, and what is your expectation? To understand I told you a story. One of our clients developed a very interesting tool to combine market research and crowdsourcing. And they developed a very interesting software, and it was really, really interesting. And then they went to the National Statistic Bureau and tried to sell them, because they do a lot of market or sending out people to ask questions from people. And when they introduced what they have, then the Statistical Bureau said that, yeah, it's very, very nice, but these 5 features we are not interested in, but why don't you put in these 3 features? So, which means that they lost a large amount of money and time, because they developed something which was not needed on the market, but they did not have something which was needed, so they had to invest additional time and money to develop those features. So it could have been avoided if they had talked to the client earlier. Partnership risks. As you are implementing a collaborative research project in Horizon, then you have a lot of partners, and each partner is a risk factor. In one of our projects, one partner went bankrupt. So it was a major issue how to replace that partner, how to identify somebody either from the existing partnership who can cover that, or to bring in a new partner, but that caused delays, and that caused extra costs. In another project, it was for us a very positive thing, because the partners at the point identified that none of the partners can do the exploitation report or the exploitation activities, so they have to invite someone who will do it. Of course, we were available, so we did it, but for the project, it was a big risk factor that no partner could handle it, and they had to give a little bit of their own budget to a new partner who will do this activity. So that was also a partnership risk, which is lack of expertise within the current partnership. So in a couple of projects, we could see that, okay, there are certain partners doing this and that, but they are not fully competent in that field. Sharing information between partners. Although it has certain regulations, but it is very important to share information among the partners. One of a typical data sharing problem or information sharing problem in Horizon projects is different interest of research partners and business partners, because research partners are very much interested in writing scientific publications, but the business partners want to do more business out of it. So nowadays, in each and every consortium agreement, there is, or there should be, a specific paragraph on publication of the results deriving from the project implementation. What should be the rule? That prior to publication, the partner circulates an information. We are aiming to submit this and this publication, this and that journal or conference with this and this content. Is there anyone who has any objection? Because there might be some business partners who may have an objection because they want to commercialize it. It doesn't mean that the paper will not be published, but at a later time. So first patenting and then publishing, because if you patent, if you publish too early, then the novelty criterion of a patent will not be fulfilled, so it can never be patented. Okay, IP ownership I have already mentioned, but that could be also a risk factor that in the shared ownership there is no agreement between the partners, or if a spin-off company should be established, it's a lot of risk factors there. We had some projects where we had competitors and both of them wanted to have exclusive rights for commercialization. That was a serious partnership risk. Delays. Delays is always a problem because there are always partners who are underperforming and they deliver. They ask, okay, can we have another 6 months and this and that? Although the other partners are ready and they are waiting for the final payment, and because of that partner, the whole project should be delayed by half a year, which means all payment is delayed. So it could be a serious issue. Yeah, next one. Market risks, competition. Strong competition, too early launch, or somebody else came out with the same product. So there are several market-related risks. Market needs are changed, or even we had some cases when, due to market restrictions, for example, Russian market, there was a product intended to be put onto the Russian market and then it was under embargo. So that market disappeared, so the whole market landscape changed. Then there are changing the market expectation, changing regulatory frames. There are a lot of other things on the market. IPR legal risks. There is one factor which is not checked properly already at the proposal phase, that is FTO. FTO stands for freedom to operate. Freedom to operate means that you should check whether there is an already existing patent on the technology what you want to develop. If there is so, then you have a risk to commit patent infringement. GDPR issues could be a risk factors. Safety issues, very important. Patent circumventions, IPR infringement, ethical risks, standards, tax policies, many other things. If you don't have a patent but know-how risks, then will somebody copy it? Because if you have a know-how, then anybody can copy it. Or the patent application is rejected, confidential information will be leaked out. For example, a key researcher or key colleague leaves the company and will bring it to a competitor. Of course, there are certain closures in the employment contract which can reduce this risk. Yeah, I think also resource limitations could be you don't have enough money, you don't have the proper staff member, or leaving the company a key staff member. So there are certain source limitations which are serious risk factors. So there are certain tools which can do help us to analyze our risks. probability and impact matrix. I don't want to go into the details of the text, but it's a two-dimensional matrix, and I will just show what are the there are probabilities and impacts. So the impacts, for example, consequences. There is a scale of 5: extreme, high, moderate, low, and negligible. And then for the risk factors, you define yourself which risk factor has what consequence, and the probability, what is the likelihood, again, scale of 5, and then all these numbers will go into this two-dimensional matrix, which is like this. But I must tell you that we prefer, here you can see the colors, how they will show you how severe it is. But I must tell you that we use or we prefer another tool, which is called priority map. The priority map is, I think, the most powerful tool. First of all, it identifies risks. Here you can see it's also a matrix, and in the first column you have the risk categories. Under each risk categories, you can list the risk factors which are relevant in your project, and then you have 4 columns. Column 1 is tells the degree of importance of the risk on a scale of 1 to 10. That is how important it is. The next column is what is the probability of happening this risk. Again, a scale from 1 to 10. Then the next column is what is the scope and type of your intervention, so mitigation action, actually. Then what is the feasibility or success probability of your intervention, again, scale 1 to 10. It is good for things, when you put all these risk factors in, then what you will have is this map. So each and every line of this risk analysis will appear as a blue dot, and depending on the numbers you insert into the matrix, it will go one of the quadrants here, and here you can see whether it is serious or not serious. I will give you just one example how it looks like in a reality. So I mean, I did not put the name of the risk factors, but here it is, what you can see, and that is what gives the dots. So each and every line gives the dot, the blue dots, and there you can see how serious it was. Okay, risk mitigation. Risk mitigation ways how you manage your risks, how to avoid risk, how to share risk, how to reduce the risk, or how to transfer risk. These are the major risk management or risk mitigation tools. Risk avoidance, how to reduce the probability of happening it. So try to exclude that risk factor. Risk sharing, if you share the risk with someone else, the impact on you will be lower. This is the basic principle of risk sharing. Risk reduction is how to reduce, even if it happens, then the negative impacts should be reduced. Risk transfer, it's not the best tool, but it's a good tool that you transfer the risk to someone else or to another area. And as a final point, you do not really understand something unless you can explain it to your grandmother, which applies to your project results. And this is the end of my presentation and my workshop basic message.
Hello again, and thank you very much for participating in this class and this topic. It's a pleasure for us to have you with us in our program. So I would like to thank you again and just say that the Enriching LAC Center, it's an association that's located in Latin America. And obviously we put together, as I mentioned before, we put together Europe and Latin America. As a center, we coordinate this, we coordinate the services, and we are at your disposal to support you in any time, in any sense, to make possible our main objective, which is innovation, internationalization, and make sure that we come to the reality and projects that will benefit not only our business and our companies, but also the whole humanity. Thank you very much for being here with us. Bye-bye.